This is a reimagined version of the Screwtape letters by C.S. Lewis, including the struggles of the modern-day man. Section 3. Distraction through the ordinary. Modern version. Keep him scrolling, and he'll never think. My dear Wormwood, you are still thinking too primitively. You keep looking for ways to corrupt your patient with obvious sin, obvious temptation, obvious failure, but you fail to understand the advantage we now possess. We no longer need to chase them. They carry the distraction in their pockets. Tell me, what device does your patient use most? His phone. Constantly. He wakes up and reaches for it immediately, before anything else. Of course he does. They all do. We have trained them well. That small glowing screen is one of our greatest achievements. It gives the illusion of connection, while isolating them completely. Now tell me, what does he do on it? Scrolling mostly videos, short clips, social media. He jumps from one thing to another. He doesn't stay on anything long. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You see, Wormwood, attention is everything, and we have successfully shattered it. The modern man cannot focus. Not for long. Not deeply. Not without interruption. And a man who cannot focus cannot think. And a man who cannot think cannot find truth. But he's not doing anything bad. It's just content entertainment. That is exactly why it works. If it were obviously evil, he might resist. He might question it. But this feels harmless, even deserved. He calls it relaxing. He calls it unwinding. But what he is really doing is surrendering his attention, 1 second at a time. So I should just keep him on his phone. Not just on his phone, inside it. Let it become the first thing he sees in the morning and the last thing he sees at night. Let it fill every empty moment, waiting in line, sitting in silence, walking alone. There must never be a gap, because a gap is where awareness begins. What if he tries to take a break? Sometimes he says he needs to reset. Ah, yes, the illusion of control. Let him believe he is stepping away, but only briefly. We do not need perfection. We only need consistency. He will return. They always return, because we have engineered the system well. Endless content, endless novelty, endless stimulation. There is always something new, something slightly more interesting, just enough to keep him hooked. He also compares himself a lot to other people online, even better. Now, we are not only distracting him, we are shaping how he sees himself. Let him scroll through curated lives, perfect bodies, perfect success, perfect happiness, all filtered, all edited, all unreal, and let him believe it is real, because comparison leads to dissatisfaction, and dissatisfaction leads to distraction. He will try to escape the feeling by consuming more, scrolling more, numbing himself further. So it becomes a cycle, exactly a perfect one. He feels empty, so he scrolls. Scrolling makes him more empty, so he scrolls again, round and round without ever realizing. The very thing he is using to escape is the thing creating the emptiness. But what about his deeper thoughts? Sometimes he starts to question things. Life, purpose, God. That is where you must be most alert. Those moments are dangerous, very dangerous, because they are rare now. The modern world has almost eliminated them. But when they appear, you must act immediately. How? Interrupt without hesitation. A notification, a message, a trending video, something urgent, something emotional, something that demands his attention. Because if he sits with that thought, if he follows it, if he allows it to deepen, we risk losing him. So I don't let the thought finish. You never let it begin. You cut it off at the root, before it becomes clear, before it becomes personal, before it becomes real. Because once truth becomes real to a man, he is much harder to control. He also listens to a lot of opinions, podcasts, clips, comment sections, even better. Flood him with information, endless perspectives, conflicting ideas, arguments, debates. So much noise that he cannot distinguish truth from opinion, because confusion is just as effective as distraction. If he does not know what to believe, he will believe nothing. So it's not about keeping him from hearing truth. It's about burying it, precisely. Truth does not need to be destroyed, only drowned, surrounded by enough voices, enough content, enough contradictions, that it becomes just another opinion. And once that happens, it loses its power. And over time, he just keeps living like that. Not living. Existing, reacting, consuming, scrolling, moving from one distraction to the next, never stopping, never thinking, never becoming aware. And that is the modern victory. We no longer need chains. We have convenience. We no longer need force. We have algorithms. We no longer need to hide the trap. They willingly walk into it every single day. So the goal isn't to destroy him. No, that is inefficient. The goal is to keep him distracted long enough that he never discovers who he was meant to be, never discovers truth, never discovers the enemy. Because a man who never discovers truth does not need to reject it. He simply lives without it. And by the time he realizes, if he ever does, it is often too late. Because the habits are built. The mind is conditioned. The attention is fragmented. And the silence he would need to hear anything real feels uncomfortable, unnatural, even frightening. So I just keep him scrolling. You keep him comfortable. You keep him entertained. You keep him distracted. And most importantly, you make sure he never notices.